Yeah, if you do the timer on your or the stopwatch. I think you can. Oh, it doesn't do that. He must have a countdown clock on his.
Well, I mean, sometimes you do something. I think 20.
Oh yeah, don't use it. I just don't use that. I just realized it'll make sound. But use he probably has a countdown clock.
Well, you might have
An app, yeah. I think it's called Countdown. I use it.
Why don't we do the?
In theory, I use that for exercise.
Okay, so we know that in Cupertino it's 4:28.
Yeah.
Richard, I think it's the first time I've ever seen an agenda.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Today they're having elections for new board members, but it's just by acclamation.
So, have anybody been to the spa?
Yeah.
Saturday, and bumped into several friends. They're like, "Is this your first time?" Yeah, it's our first time. We can go to the museum. I want to do that. But this, it's ranked as the #1 spot.
Actually,
Not
just like
according to that,
open.
but it's amazing. It's so beautiful. Like, you get a tour. And at the end of the tour, the guy says, "Any questions?" I said, "Could you start again? Because I'm overwhelmed. I forgot what you said at the beginning." Yeah, and then you get this when you leave. They give you and if you're a resident, show them your driver's license, 10%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And is it like communal pools or
There's a
individual?
co-ed outside. There's 2 co-ed pools. One's salt and mineral, one's regular pool. And then there's men and women's section. So, and everybody was wearing bathing suits. You don't have to, but not everybody did. Believe me.
Considering the clientele.
Yeah. And they have my daughter, it was his birthday. And I didn't know when we rented this house with a friend of his. He goes, "Yeah, come say hi." We can reserve a private area for like $800. And they bring in food and fruits and drinks and you have your own pool. And a full gym. This is the most beautiful gym I've ever seen. He's a member of the spa, so he goes to work out every day. It's empty. But this was really impressive.
Wow.
No, I have friends went to the cultural center.
How are you?
He's like a museum program. He liked his only criticism, he just felt too much text. Like,
I want to go to the
Did you see, did they have videos in the museum?
This is
Like,
live.
I don't know. He said he wanted.
Hey, the mic works.
Tell me how it's coming.
Cheers. Hey, season's greetings. It's the last meeting of the calendar year. We're all here. So welcome. Thanks for being here. And I'll call the meeting to order. Already, the agenda is taking on a life of its own. So we're going to have some moving around here before we approve it. Please check in with Slido. There's going to be a reason for that a little later in the meeting. So if you haven't yet, please check in with Slido. The hospitality is on the way, water and beverages. So please be patient with that. They're a little slow. Where are we? So the agenda, I'm moving up. A lot of people have other meetings tonight. So the first section is going to be longer than usual. So we're going to move much of the events reporting up earlier in the meeting. I don't think you care, but I want to make sure that you know that we're doing that and the speakers are here to do that for us. What else do we need to do? And the topic, I totally fudged on this agenda. We have two Little Beverly Hills presentations coming up. One tonight I transposed with the other. Our guest is talking tonight about how to market and promote your NORG through all sorts of media. They presented it to the board, and it's really exciting and really easy and turnkey. So Brian, I'm sorry, you can do your history project at the next meeting. I transposed those two. So with all that said and done, would anyone like to make a motion to approve this agenda? Thanks, Carlene. Is there a second? Second. All right. Thank you very much. All in favor? Yes. Okay. All right. Moving along. The minutes of the November meeting. Would there be a motion to approve? Thank you again.
Second.
Second. Favor, decline. Thank you also for your support. Okay. NORG hot topics. I think there is one, but I don't recall what it is. Anything that's, yes, ma'am, you're standing. Go ahead.
I want to thank everyone who donated socks last time. We had 72 pairs of socks that I took to the Fill the Bus event and donated them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Very good. And Bob, we had the peanut butter drive recently
We
too.
have 108 jars this year.
My
so
God.
the food bank.
Was there enough jelly to go with that?
That's just good peanut butter.
Okay.
Longest shelf life.
I see.
Good for us.
Yes, yes. Thanks for all your charity. Any other topics good for the cause? It's not on this agenda. Could be on the next. Okay, moving along. So let's see, no particular order. Jasmine, I think I saw you arrive. Hi. Jasmine with our Park and Rec Department has a few things she wants to say, and please come on up. At least I'm told you do.
I will be brief. I just wanted to thank everybody. This organization has been a huge part of the success of our special events, including the Festival Lights Parade, but definitely in addition to quite a few other events. So I just wanted to express my gratitude. So that's it. Yes, thank you.
That parade and all other activities in this town are no easy feat, and this young lady takes care of that. So let's give her a hand, please. All right, Denise, your writing is very fine. Joy, because you have a meeting to get to. Thank you for coming to ours.
But I can't leave without Jasmine.
No, you can't.
So we got a little bit of time.
Joy co-chairs our picnic and
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay. Can you believe it's time for a picnic again? Okay, Saturday, March 22nd, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be having our picnic at Ruth Hardy Park. We will have food vendors and all sorts of activities. We really want to encourage the neighborhoods to have a booth there. Your neighbors are going to come, and when they see that, it's going to give them a real sense of pride. And that's really what the picnic is about. It's about our neighborhoods and those other organizations that support the neighborhoods. So we're going to have some prizes again this year. Those are green cash prizes. Last year, Movie Colony East won. Now, it is only a coincidence that Chris
Chair.
is on that, and I am on that, but we did not vote. So just want to let you know that's okay. The chief was the one that chose.
no bribes.
That's right. There were no bribes involved here. So we'll be doing that again, though. And Bob Farron is still on this committee too. April Gunkel, Denise, people whose names I don't recall because I'm really bad with names. Not me.
Brian?
Are you on the? Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with names. I'm so sorry about that. It's just a problem that I have. But everybody here does wear name tags, but I can't see at all. Lucy, there you go. So I can't see, I can't remember names. Okay, downhill from here, I guess. But we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's always a beautiful day. And all the city staff that are there and helping us and showing you what they have to offer the community. Because, you might just think of, for example, the police department as just being the police department, but no, they have all sorts of different things that they're involved in to help our community, fire department as well, and so many others. So just wanted to remind you, we got that coming up. We have the letters almost ready to go out, and we will see you there. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, or if you think that we could have done something better, please give me a call, 760-333-6820. Call me whenever you want, because I don't sleep that good. Okay, thank you. Oh, pet thing, right, sorry, missed it about the, right, you're supposed to, yeah, okay, he's reminding me. So we're gonna have the pet contest again, and we would like people to donate some prizes for that. So if you could bring them to the next meeting, or maybe to Denise, or whatever it is that works out, we would sure appreciate that. But really, if you have any suggestions, please tell us, because we want to make it the best that we can. And we appreciate you all so very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Questions? Repeat your phone number. 333 something.
Well, who's asking?
Concerned citizens.
It's 760-333-6820. Thank you.
Thank you, George. 2 questions. We had the same question.
Got it. Great, thank you. I skipped over new visitors. Anyone here tonight that's new, not been here before or often? Sir, what neighborhood are you?
Upper West Side.
Great, thank you. Oh, a lot of people. Yeah, you've been here before. Oh, good. Hi, Frank. Welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Jean, Melody Ranch.
Great, thank you.
Mariah Morgan, Upper West Side.
Great, wonderful. Over here, yeah.
Eddie Ludwig from the Rose Garden.
Rose Garden. Okay, great.
Sir, Kevin Frank from Twin Palms.
Twin Palms. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Mary Sue Allen from Palm Canyon. I have a new neighborhood and we're trying to expand our neighborhood.
Yes, you are.
But I used to be the president of the neighborhood organization for Warm Sands.
Oh, great. They might need you.
Yeah.
Can you adopt? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Victoria Lort. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Conservation for Desert Water Agency. I haven't been able to come out. I know when Sochi and Lee kind of talk, we'll dive a little bit more, but happy to be here.
And I was on your tour recently. Very well done. So,
thank you.
yeah, thank you. All right, we'll keep coming back and bring more people. We need a bigger room. All right, one last thing under all this call to order business. Lisa couldn't be here tonight, but Black History Parade is on schedule. We need volunteers as always for anything. So I don't have a phone number to give you for that. So if you can let us know if you're interested. Patrick, did you have something?
No, I was going to say she was after send around.
Oh, a clipboard.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and we need people, she needs to have people who are willing to man a table during Black History Parade Day, as well as people who might want to be in the parade, and we do need a car for that as well. So if you're so inclined and are interested, don't hesitate to come up to me after the meeting, and I'll be happy to get you connected with Lisa, who chairs this committee. Thank you so much.
All right, I think we got through all that preliminary business, and the mayor is, oh, ma'am, I'm sorry.
There was a question about the date. Yeah, I'm sorry, what's the date of the parade?
And it's February 22nd.
That's a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the mayor is tapping his foot, so we,
No,
like,
I was just getting between the police and the cookies, and I didn't.
oh, okay, well, I'd say give the police all the cookies.
Very good.
At least you didn't do the dog.
Okay. Happy holidays, happy December, everybody. So I, first want to start out and, do acknowledge that we had a really unfortunate accident during the Festival of Lights Parade. Our Chief of Police, Andy Mills, is going to be here to speak about that after me. I appreciate how our community has been so concerned and reaching out to both the people who were hurt and the officer, including the officer. And I really, our public safety officers, the police and fire, this is when you feel very proud that you have 100,000 people here, and they managed it really as best they could. So I'm going to let them speak more about that afterwards. And I think we as a community know things could have been worse. And so we just have to be somewhat thankful for that. But again, Chief Mills will speak about this after me. We do have a lot of other holiday things that are going on this month. And so there is, we've had carolers downtown. Tomorrow we have Desert Winds Freedom Band is playing on the plaza. We've had some tree lightings of our tree, the tramway, the Kimpton. The Kimpton is having Santa out there. We've got Modern Men Chorus is out there, the Gay Men's Chorus. Palm Canyon Theater is doing a show. Village Fest is turning into the holiday market. And then also on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, the Musical Theater University students, if you haven't seen them, they are terrific. These are people who want to become professionals, are going to give a free concert, 6 p.m. in front of Forever Maryland each night, 13th, 14th, and 15th, about 45 minutes. And then it will air, I think, on KESQ on Christmas Eve. So it's another, and they're hoping to make this a holiday tradition. So we're going to start actually already talking in January about planning Palm Springs holidays for 2025, because hopefully we also have the Plaza Theater then. So if you want to see all the events that are going on, look at palmspringsholidays.org, because there's literally hundreds of events in different stores and club, music and other things and restaurants going on. So that is interesting. For council meetings, so the big news was, I think this was a council meeting after our last meeting, is we reached a settlement agreement with the Section 14 survivors and descendants. What this agreement was based upon is we had calculated, I think, 197 homes that were not abandoned and were destroyed. The present day value of them was $30,000. So the cash settlement we came up with was $5.9 million. And then in addition, we are reallocating some of our existing funds, not new funds, on homeownership and economic development. So what's interesting is we do have a money that goes regularly towards affordable housing. This comes from our tax on vacation rentals. And so we are allocating over the next 10 years, $20 million for affordable home ownership, which is really the first time our city has done anything like this, both with a community land trust and then with first-time home buyers assistance. So that is pretty exciting for our city, because home ownership has been a big challenge in our city. We're also allocating $1 million to Caravanserai, which is a local organization. They run our SBDC, Small Business Development Center, and they will do sort of micro grants to entrepreneurs. We just had a graduation last night for a pilot thing we ran, which was about a dozen small businesses. They go through a 4-month training process, educational process. If they pass that, at the end they get I think this was $5,000 or $10,000, which is a huge amount to start a new business. Now we're going to be able to have $1 million over a few years to do that. So it's not directly tied to the settlement, but it all came out of the discussions on what we can do moving forward to help the inequalities that exist and people who are disadvantaged. I will say, I know Scott Stiles is here, our city staff spends thousands of hours on this in the last year. So the fact that we have settled will save a lot of staff time and money going forward on this, and the plaintiffs, the survivors, the descendants and former residents, if you saw the council, they're very happy and very excited basically to have been recognized for what happened. And so that is in the agreement now, that's going forward. We also approved a new version of the A's Memorial, which was another controversial topic in the last year. If you've not seen the new version, I guess it's on Engage Palm Springs. It's beautiful, it's touching, it's moving. Pretty much everybody I know loves it, especially the community who did not like the last version. Council agreed to pay the $125,000 for installation. The other $1 million for the actual piece is all through private fundraising, and it's a gift to the city that will be in the downtown park. We also announced a couple other public arts projects. These are larger scale ones for Gateway Park, which is the park in El Rancho Vista Estates, Baristo, Desert Highlands, and Victoria. So those all have $50,000 pieces of art from the public arts funds. And Authority, yeah. We also, you've heard, we're in discussions with the Plaza, with the Calura, a restaurant at the Plaza, and there's some miscommunication. We need to have that patio, we need to have the area widened to allow safe access from the theater. And this is new state building codes. There's no way around it. We certainly can't have a danger to our residents. We are trying to work very closely with the restaurant to come up with a win-win situation, which includes construction of a permanent patio in the front of the restaurant, not a parkway, but a real permanent patio that the city would pay for, and nicer than any of the other parklets we've seen around. So really a nice one. But obviously change is very difficult for any small business. So, I mean, I think once it opens, it would be better, but there's a fear of unknown, and I certainly understand that. We also did a really smart fiscal policy. It sounds boring, but we have this unfunded reserve for our CalPERS. That's the pension fund. But we have been putting aside money. We're going to pay it down. We'll be at a very strong rate of 70% funded, 75% by 2025, and 90% by 2040. And this is really sort of monumental and sort of fiscal stability for our city. We also passed an underground utility ordinance, which allows neighborhoods, not necessarily norths, but any defined neighborhood of 5 or more homes with a certain number of feet, to decide to pay to have their wires put underground. It is not inexpensive, but I know there's some neighborhoods that really want it, and this now gives them the opportunity to do so. So that happened. Tomorrow Thursday, we have our new council meeting. So we will have swear in 2 new council members, Naomi Soto in District 4 and David Reddy in District 5. And this will be the last meeting for Councilmember Holstage and Middleton. And then we'll be naming a new mayor, which is me, because I'm not going to leave. No, I'm joking.
Okay, got him.
It is Mayor Pro Tem Rhonda Hart will become the 27th mayor of Palm Springs. And council member elect Naomi Soto will be mayor pro tem. So council, what happens is we go through in January, we determine all the liaisons and committee members. And so that will be determined in January through council. I don't know when our first meeting is, so, and when your first meeting is, but it's possible I will still be a second Tuesday. When's our January meeting? Do you know, Scott?
January
9th.
Oh.
When is your meeting?
Ours is the 14th.
Oh, so we will know then, the 9th. We'll know for sure then. Other news, I guess this happened after the last one. We had the groundbreaking for the College of the Desert, which is really terrific news. And it's a $400 million campus. They're going to open in 2027. And they're looking at getting 2 bachelor's degrees. I did a letter of recommendation today to get the casino gaming bachelor's, and also they'll have one in architecture. So that is good news. Today we had groundbreaking for the Dream Hotel, which is also scheduled to open in 2027. Yes, we did. Yep. So, you know, they've had a new settlement, they have a new financing, they're part of the Hyatt brand, which is also Thompson as well. So that is, am I talking too fast?
He's fine. He said you're fine.
We can keep up with it.
Okay. So that is good news. It is going to be 155 hotel rooms, some condos, and then some mixed use restaurants open to the public in a market. It's like a 4 or 5 star hotel. So that's exciting. Condos, yeah. There's a mixture of residences, hotel rooms, and then residences that can also be in the hotel pool. Is how it works. So that a lot of it is how you get finance these days, because financing a hotel is difficult. Other news, we've been having more community meetings on the airport. The latest design for the parking is to start with a 3-story parking building next to the main building in phase 1, and then phase 2 add a 2-story to the southern part of the airport. So you'll have 2 different parking, so we won't have one 5-story one. And that one seems to be, everybody is happy. This is a long process that will keep continuing with more community meetings, more input, and they're just beginning to start design guidelines on all of this. We did have, thanks to Chief Mills, we had a community meeting on hate crimes and concerns within our community. Chief Mills and myself, Scott Stiles and Jeff Ballinger, who's our city attorney, did that to answer a lot of questions from the public. Which went well. So thank you to Chief for that. A couple other things. Actually, I'm going here at 5:30. I'm having a tech convergence. There's a lot of tech people in our city. I'm trying to figure out how we can build this into our economic future. So I got about 100 people showing up at the Air Museum at 5:30. So I will be there. And I'm also continuing. I've had a Parks Task Force for the past few years. I'll let Scott announce some big news when I'm finished. Our Arts and Cultural Roundtable and Economic Development Subcommittees continue to meet. For District 2, my Wednesday is my District 2 meeting at Vista Del Monte at 5:30. Of course, we also have our film festival coming up. If you've seen the star lineup, this year is bigger than ever. I mean, Ariana Grande, Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Selena Gomez, Timothy Chalamet, big stars, Jennifer Lopez, so it's going to be huge. And we also have coming up, you've seen Chick-fil-A is looking at opening, and they're going to Planning Commission, I think tomorrow, so we will see what happens.
Where would that be?
In the Ramon Center.
It's in the Ramon Shopping Center, where the old T-Mobile, I think it's something T-Mobile or something was there. So they have to go through planning first. And that's it. On the side business, anyone, I'm having a Destination PSP toy drive and a holiday party on Sunday if anybody would like to come from 3 to 6. That's not city business, that's just me. And that's it. Happy to answer any questions. No? Okay. Fine. Up in the back. Queen.
So what happens is there a possibility that someone else who lived in section 14 might now make a claim that wasn't part of the original group?
As part of our settlement agreement, we're getting a release from all 1,200 survivors and descendants that their attorney had, which obviously they've been building their list for a number of years. It is unlikely that anybody else would come out, and we've set the precedent that it's $30,000 per verifiable per home loss. So I don't think there is really a real possibility that will happen.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for your leadership here for the last year. You and council and staff have accomplished so much and really righted a lot of wrongs and worked through and navigated a lot of controversy with respect and dignity and finality. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. If there are more questions, I'm going to have Chief Mills talk a little bit more about the incident, and I do have to go, so I apologize.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yay.
Can you hear me without this?
Yes.
In the back? Okay. I'll put that down.
Yeah, you're good.
So as you're aware, at the Festival of Lights Parade, one of our officers lost control of his bike, and before the parade started, the bike slid into the curb where people were seated, and as a result, about a dozen people, including him, were injured. The injuries ranged from him with a hand that was almost severed. He still does have his hand, and including use of his hand. Modern miracles of medicine, I tell you, this hospital was absolutely fantastic. He can move his fingers and has dexterity, a little bit of dexterity. So, hopefully in the near future, he'll have more surgeries and be on the road to recovery. The other injuries range from people, most of which were released that night from the emergency room. And it's my understanding that 2 stayed and could possibly still be in the hospital. Under HIPAA law, I can't know what those injuries are. So I can only assume that they're serious injuries. But that will be for California Highway Patrol and their families to know and understand. We have turned the investigation immediately over to an outside agency, the California Highway Patrol, for 2 reasons. One is they're experts at collisions. That's what they do for a living. That's pretty much all they do for a living, is do these crashes. So I want the best possible people to come and take that collision. Second reason is I want it outside of our police agency, so that there is nobody inside the agency influencing the investigation. And because we want this done correctly, we want the truth to come out, whatever took place, and then we'll judge it from there. As a result, I've done a few things I want to make sure that you understand. First thing is we grounded our motor fleet. So we have 4 full-time motor officers, and I've taken the bikes away for right now, where you got them parked with tarps over them, and they are not going to be operating on their bikes for right now. Second thing is we're doing an internal administrative review. I'm not looking to lay blame. I want to understand how we got to this point, and then we need to fix it. It's kind of like when an airplane crashes. We're looking what were the causes of that. Was it human error? Was it equipment failure? Was it a culture that allowed this to take place? So we're tearing this thing apart from top to bottom. What was their training? What was their experience? What was their background? We're going to look at every little piece of data that we can find. They'll issue me the report. I'll sit down with the city manager to make sure that there's clarity and that I have some accountability in this thing, and that we'll publish it to you. I want the community to know exactly what we found. The third thing we're doing is we're doing an internal investigation, a personnel investigation. So if somebody violated policy and that was the reason for this crash, then we need to hold them accountable. And if that is significant, then we'll see what it looks like. Right now, not as a traffic expert. I've seen lots of video. We've seen a lot of things happening. The officers were popping wheelies. Here's what those motorcycles are. They're BMWs, and what it does is it raises the front wheel off the ground about 6 to 12 inches, and there's a governor on it that forces it back down. That's what they were doing. So what you saw in the video looked like, according to the officer, his foot slipped off the peg, and it caused him to lose balance. And it's called whiskey throttling, where you holding onto the handlebars and trying to regain control, but unfortunately the accelerator's in the handlebar. And so that's where you get that raising of the bike and in speed. If that's what happened, I'm not 100% sure. Again, I'm not doing the investigation. That's what I'm being told. Regardless, there were people hurt, and I'm responsible for that. I'm the chief of police. This organization is mine, and I want to make sure that what we do is appropriate, and we look at this thoroughly, we investigate it thoroughly, and we take the steps necessary to make sure that it never happens again. So, and then the last thing we're doing, there's several more steps, but one of the other things we're doing is we're going to make it mandatory training for the entire department about risk management. What kind of decisions are we making in crowded environments specifically? So we're looking at best practices in other departments around the state of what they're doing for crowd control when there's a large crowd like that with vehicles. Because I also had heard that some of our quads were going too fast. And I want to make sure that, again, we're looking at all of that. We'll take the appropriate steps, and I'll report those steps to you. So that's where we are right now in this incident. And again, I'll report back to you. I've tried to be as transparent and as forward as possible, because I want you all to have the information that I have. Now, I'm putting it out on my social media. You're welcome to follow me or the department, either way, because that's where I'm putting the information out. And then, of course, the news media outlets have asked a lot of questions, and rightfully so. That's their responsibility. And I'm answering those as fast and as we possibly can. A couple questions came up that I'll just address right now. One is, why did the parade continue? Well, we had about 100,000 people there. And it would have done, to my opinion, it would have done more harm to cancel the parade and have 100,000 people not understanding why, other than seeing a bunch of ambulances roll in, than not, than continuing the parade. Two, we've got 500 to 1,000 kids at the south end of North Palm Canyon, and their transport vehicles are in the far north end, because they're marching. So now we've got to figure out logistically how to get 500 to 1,000 kids from there to there. Two, the scene was contained. So I wasn't too concerned that we were going to contaminate the scene. And so we had enough room to get the floats by, we contained the scene, and then I consulted with the city manager, the mayor, the assistant city manager, the fire chief. We were all talking independently, and we all came up with the same conclusion. So I made the decision: we're going to continue with the parade. I can protect the scene without having to disturb the parade. And the last thing is, to have 100,000 people going every which direction just didn't make sense to me. And what I saw was not too many people left. Most people stayed, and including people right by the scene, and were cheering and having fun and so forth. People wanted the parade to go on. It's the holiday spirit. And so that's what I witnessed at the scene. A lot of people were asking me, Chief, we're going to continue to have the parade. And so those are some of the reasons why we did it. There were more, but by and large, that was the things that really mattered. And another question that came up is, well, why didn't the city council members get off that float and come over and help you guys?
What?
Let me be real clear about that. My lieutenants in the back going, no. I don't want anybody in that scene, including our city council members. That just makes things much more complex. And I would have had to turn around very comfortably and say, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate you and love you dearly. Get out of my crime scene. Or my accident scene, not my crime scene. And he would have done just that. But he and Scott were there. They stayed outside of the scene to advise and to handle stuff. And the mayor went down immediately, got on, I think, NBC, and let them know that the parade was stopped for this reason. And so everybody has their role. And if there's absolutely nothing for you to do at that point, the best thing they could do is keep the holiday cheer and spirit going. So I was thankful. I didn't ask them to do that. They did that on their own. So that's where we are right now. This has been a rough couple weeks. As you know, we lost an officer on a motorcycle, and that's going to get more complex. And then this crash. But you know what? Overall, the spirits are high. People are motivated to protect the city. We're working as hard as we possibly can. We will continue to for the holidays. But there will be a point where we've got to lick our wounds, and we'll do that as a team. We'll do that and move forward together. Okay. I don't want to take up too much time, but if you have any quick questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I want to commend you and everyone involved for the transparency, for the updates.
I'm trying to tell my guys and our officers, men and women, quit reading the social media on the crazy side. They're, people, hey, this guy from the highest tree. Yeah. Come on. Most of this community has been very supportive. You want answers, and I get it. You deserve answers. But nobody is saying this is the end of the world. I mean, I've been a police chief for 11 years, and Scott's been a city manager and city governor for 27, the city manager, something like that. Other things are going to happen eventually. But we've worked through those things, and we're not going to make a mountain when it's just a hill. So we have to, see it for what it is, work through it. This is important, very important. But we don't want to, overreact on these things. And the sky is not falling, the world's not coming to an end. But we are going to take firm, serious steps to make sure that nothing like this can ever happen again. And again, it's my shoulders, ma'am.
I have heard so many people, so many different places tell us that an officer lost his hand. I am going to have so much fun tomorrow reporting the fact that his hand was saved. I thank you for coming and telling us that tonight, of all things.
Well, it was interesting because there were people right there, taking photographs, and it looked ugly. I mean, it was tough to take a look at, but our officers immediately went to him and the other people hurt, and so the firefighters came in and helped too. They put a tourniquet on his arm because they're concerned about a femoral artery break or radial artery break. It's just his bones were sticking up, but I'm telling you, this hospital is amazing. So kudos to them. And yes, there's a lot of misinformation. This is the age of social media. In the age of social media, don't believe anything you read until you see it yourself. And but you're getting our the horse's mouth. Any other questions? Because I don't want to take up too much time. I have actually another meeting to
Just
go
one
to.
question. For those who are not on social media, what's another source we can point people to for accurate information like reporting?
Well, you can do two things. One, get in the 21st century. Sorry, too soon, Richard?
No.
Oh, yeah. But you can also go to the city's website and at Engage Palm Springs. Is that it, Denise?
Yeah.
Engage Palm Springs, and most of the stuff is put there.
Yeah.
And Amy and Denise and Kitty are pretty good at reposting the stuff that I'm posting to get it out as quickly as possible. And you can always come knock on my door and say, Andy, I want to know what's up, and I'll give you the information. Again, thank you so much, and one more, and then we'll be done.
Just let Ken know we have his back.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just one little anecdotal story as Ken is getting wheeled in the ambulance. I'm looking at his hand, it's down here, or it's supposed to be, and they're putting one of the other people that were hurt in the ambulance with him, with the person's mother. And when I got to the hospital, the grandmother told me that the entire way Ken kept telling the baby, "You'll be okay. I'm so sorry that this happened to you, that I hurt you," and all that kind of stuff. And the mother was just so positive about what a wonderful person Ken is in the midst of all that. So that's the kind of quality person he is. So, but mistakes happen, and we'll make sure that there's accountability. So, all right, have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager. Hard act. None of that.
Thank you. My voice, I don't think, is quite as loud as the chief, so I'll use this. I do want to, I know the chief took off, but I really want to take a moment just to commend both the police and our fire department for their quick response in dealing with it. But I also want to, I saw Jasmine Waits here for a quick second. Is Jasmine here? Did she leave? Oh my gosh. Well, what I did want to do, because I wanted her to hear this.
All right, she's almost here.
Well, what I wanted to say is during a lot of that was going on, they came over and they showed me some video that quickly had been downloaded to show me some very preliminary images of it. And I looked at it, and our police and our firefighters, they're trained when something happens, they're trained to run to the scene to help out. And when I looked at that video, Jasmine, I saw a bunch of your staff, a bunch of the folks that you hired, they were also running to help out too. And so as civilians, we're not trained to do that necessarily. And so to just see you and your staff respond so well, just congratulations to you, so. Jasmine and her team, as all of you know, they put on all of these wonderful parades and events that we have. They're busy round the clock, and they do tremendous work. The mayor said I had a special announcement. I always like to bring to these meetings important people that I've recently hired that I think all of you would like to know about. And so at this point, I'd like to have Nick Gonzalez come forward. Come on up, Nick. So you will all be interested to know that I have hired, Nick is our new Parks and Recreation Director for the city of Palm Springs. I'm just going to ask him to say just a couple words, if you don't mind, Mr. President, in a minute. But what I do want to say is we did a national search to find Nick. And I bet we interviewed, and I told him this. I said, I think we interviewed candidates from 3 or 4 different states that all wanted to be here and come and work in Palm Springs. Nick Gonzalez is his name, and Nick came to us from the city of Ontario, where he ran their Parks and Recreation department there. He knows Palm Springs very well. He's out here all the time. Maybe he'll say a word about that. What I will tell you about Nick is that I introduced him to the new incoming mayor, Ron DeHart, a couple days ago. And Ron said, Nick, don't worry about anything. You're going to love Palm Springs. It's a very quiet community. There's not much going on. It's not much community engagement. It's going to be a real easy job for you. The only thing I told Nick in the interview is just make sure you know a lot about pickleball and you'll be fine. So Nick, maybe you'd like to just say a few words. I've told him about 1PS, this group, and if you just want to introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Scott. And I'm really excited to get to know all of you. In Parks and Recreation, it's so important for us to get involved in the community. And it's wonderful to see that we have such a great neighborhood organization here with so many of you involved and engaged. I already knew that coming in, that Palm Springs was a very engaged community. And I'm so excited to be able to work with you all, especially as we're about to implement our Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And so hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to come back and talk to you about some of the exciting projects that will be forthcoming. But we already have such a fantastic team here, and I'm excited to lead the department. As Scott mentioned and alluded to, I'm very familiar with Palm Springs. My partner has a place out here on South Palm Canyon, and so I'm out here very frequently. And so I'm getting to learn a little bit more about our community here. And again, I just want to thank you for the warm welcome, and I'm excited to be your Parks and Recreation Director. So thank you all.
Thanks, Nick. We'll get him back here whenever the time is right. Maybe the master plan would be a good time. Just a couple of other things that I thought everybody might be interested in. As the mayor indicated, we're going into a really busy time. A whole bunch of other things are about ready to, we're just transitioning on. The Palm Springs International Film Festival is going to be huge this year. You know, this translates into millions of impressions around the globe several times, you know, about our community. And that's really important. It takes a lot of work, and all of that is going on right now. Then we'll go into the Black History Parade that we do, and then comes modernism. And so we are no rest for the weary around here. We're always staying busy. I know maybe Ron Skyberg's going to mention this in our fire department, but just a good warning of caution. All you have to do is look at the Santa Ana winds that are blowing in LA and through you can see what's going on in Malibu right now. And so it's really a dicey situation, and it's just a good preparedness for all of us to think about brush around our homes, and making sure we've done a lot of work on that this year, and maybe Ron might mention a word or two about that. But it's just watching that, and let's pay attention to it and be aware of it. I don't think there's too much more I did want to say. We're just really excited. We just opened up the Thompson Hotel. maybe a lot of you have been to their restaurant and everything. It's just a fantastic property. I think the 1st of January, the south tower, the south portion of the development is going to open up. So we're really, really excited about that. So we've got a lot going on, and more to come. Happy holidays, everyone. Appreciate it.
Okay, Brian, are you ready? Brian is an amazing tech guy. Well, social media, speaking of the 21st century. And he presented this to the board a few weeks ago. And it's just chock full of stuff that I think we can all use. And as we look at the new year, maybe the ways 1PS can help NORGs who don't have this level of engagement yet to get to that point. So that's why we wanted to bring him here tonight. And I'll leave it to you.
I think, yeah, this one will work. So I'm Brian Ramos. I'm the communications officer for the Little Beverly Hills Neighborhood Organization. And just to orient you a little bit, we're one of the smallest NORGs in the city. We are bordered by El Cielo on the east, Compadre on the west, which is right adjacent to the Prescott Preserve, Sunny Dunes to the south, and Ramon Road to the north. So we're 40 square acres, comprised of 84 mid-century homes, mostly Chrysler Alexanders, and then the Palms condos along Ramon Road. And so our neighborhood organization was formed in 2013, but really went defunct during COVID, like many NORGs. We resurrected in 2022, and I was elected to the board in 2023, and I've served as the communications officer now for a couple of years. Who am I? I don't have any marketing background other than the one marketing course in my MBA program, and I'm really learning as I go. And so what I wanted to share with you today was where we started and where we are today and how we got there in order to be able to help your NORGs advance a little bit on engagement with your residents and engagements with the greater community. So what we inherited as a board was very little record, so very few meeting minutes from 2013 forward. Very limited resident data, who lived there, what their contact information was. We had a very static, outdated website that didn't really motivate people to go and visit and didn't really have a lot of useful information. Our URL was stolen by a owner who was on the board. This is a familiar story for at least one other NORG that I've talked to recently. He wanted to promote his home's short-term rental and stole the URL. We still haven't recovered that one, still working on it. And we had no social media presence at all. What we did inherit also were the logo and the blade signs, but these are not high resolution images. This was just what we were able to find on the internet. So we really were starting from scratch. And what I didn't know, by the way, is that at least in our NORG's bylaws, the communications officer was responsible for the resident directory. I would have thought that that was a secretary role. As it turns out, in our NORG, it's not. It was mine. So I thought all I had to do was do fun stuff, and suddenly I was chasing down every person that was living in our neighborhood. So we accomplished a lot in a year and a half, and I'm going to go into detail, brief detail about all of these, but we updated our resident roster, revamped our website, created new social media accounts, and developed a cadence for our new digital newsletters. The resident roster, just to highlight that, how we accomplished this, and I'll tell you the results. We mailed letters, so if you don't know, Denise and her office will mail out letters to your residents. You need to have addressed envelopes with a letter inside, but the city will pay for the postage, so you just call up Denise, let her know that you want to do a mailing, and she'll gladly do it, and that was a huge help for us. I tracked home sales in our neighborhood, and so every time a home transitioned, I reached out to the new owners with a welcome letter in order to be able to get them engaged in the neighborhood and get their contact information.
How do you track home sales? Just out of curiosity?
So I use Redfin or Zillow, and you basically draw a map. You log in, you create an account in Redfin or Zillow, you draw a map around your neighborhood yourself, and then you get notified when either a home goes up for sale or when it closes. And then you'll get email notifications for that. And then I just use that as the way to engage with those people. And this is really helpful for a larger neighborhood because you may have, thousands of housing units versus, we have 170, 180 housing units in our neighborhood. It's just thousands that other neighborhoods have. Yeah, it's hard. I also established a relationship with the condo association in our neighborhood, so with their board and with their management company. And so two things happened out of that. I added the manager to our email distribution list, so those are now being communicated by the manager, which reduces the need for me to actually have the contact information for all the individual condo owners. And then they have a private Facebook group that they added me to so that I could communicate neighborhood news within their private HOA Facebook page. And so now after a year and a half, I had maybe 24 contacts. Now I have 80% of the single family homes and 30% of the condos. And again, for the 30, I still have other means to be able to communicate with them. The other 20%, they don't want to be engaged. I've tried time and time again. We use email blasts really for urgent information. So there has been a lot of traffic and road construction on Ramon, as you know. We had a planned power outage, which took down the entire neighborhood. So those were all communicated via email. We developed a new website. So we lost the first domain, but I purchased 2 additional domains, and they all point to one another. We developed new content. We created a new email account because we didn't have one for the North before. And what's really interesting is that all of our content is open to the public, including all of our meeting minutes. All of our org documents are there. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you the website because you can go there by yourself. By the way, there's a handout in the back that has all the pertinent information. But this is our website. And so we're on the Modernism Week tour, and so there's information there. We have a blog that gives sort of more news-related stuff. We have a lot of history. My neighbor David and I have uncovered a lot of the history in the neighborhood. But the real tab here for you all is the resident tab, which has all of the governing documents, all the meeting minutes, including draft meeting minutes awaiting approval, back as far as when I was on the board and the limited amount that I had access to when I took over. You can browse past copies of our newsletters, review any letters of support that we wrote, for example, to the Prescott Preserve. If we're in the media, that's here listed as well. We've been on Modernism Week several times, so those tours are available as well. On social media, we created these accounts brand new, and so Instagram is used as our public-facing platform, and Facebook is a lockdown private group just for the residents of the neighborhood organization. So for Facebook, I won't show it to you because I have to be logged in and I'm on somebody else's computer, but Facebook, I require questions and answers to be answered before you can be admitted to the group. And that's basically name, contact information. That way I can sort of validate that these are real people, because there are a lot of fake Facebook profiles out there that then just spam you with duck cleaning advertisements.
Yeah, right.
But our Instagram page is our public-facing page. Today we have, and I'm not logged in, so this is going to not let me show you a lot, but we currently have 675 followers. We post pretty frequently, both posts and stories. Obviously, Modernism Week tour is highlight of our work right now. So that's really what we promote right now. But there's tons of photos and images that are either taken by me or submitted by other owners in the neighborhood, residents in the neighborhood. And from beginning of October of 2023 to today, we've grown our Instagram following to 675. The Twin Palms Neighborhood Organization has thousands of followers. Ucktail Lodge has thousands of followers. Little Beverly Hills follows every NORG's Instagram page that I've been able to find. But this growth has been pretty significant. And how I do it is this way. want everybody to take out your cell phones because I know you all have them because you scanned to log in today for today's meeting for quorum. So scan the QR code or open Instagram and type in Little Beverly Hills. And I have my own phone here, so I'm going to be able to tell how many of you follow me. And if you're not doing this, I'm going to just pause the presentation. You're not going to get the rest of the goodies until you do it. Still 675. Still 675. Still 675.
The numbers at McDonald's.
No, 677. All right, I'll keep moving on. But please do follow us. It's a great page. Has a lot of fun content. And then the next thing we did was, and I'll explain this in a little bit, but we've changed our digital newsletter. And this is what the last edition looks like on the left. This is a preview of the new edition that hasn't even been released on the right. It will come out in early January, but it's already done. So basically, this is what our newsletter looks like. I should have loaded this before, but that's all right. This is a digital newsletter. It's a flipbook version, and so literally you can flip through the pages, don't mind the items in red, that's still edits that I have to make. But this is going to be focused on our Modernism Week home tour for our neighbors. But then we also have event notifications, save the date notifications for all of our events for the entire season. They're published in advance so when people can plan it, especially people with short-term rentals, they can block out those days. Welcome new residents. As new homeowners move in, we give them the opportunity to introduce themselves to the community. Naomi's going to be our new council member, and so we've announced that. And then we were spotlighted in Denise's newsletter recently, so there's a shout out there. We have neighborhood updates like road repairs, neighborhood yard sales.
Brian, how often do you publish this newsletter?
Quarterly.
That looks like a lot of work.
It's a decent amount of work. I will be honest with you. I enjoy it, and so what I do is I just keep it sort of open in draft mode in the background, and then as items sort of come up, I just stick it in there and start editing, start typing, or even just an idea, right? Like, oh, don't forget to add this, and I'll just put that in there. But yeah, it is a decent amount of work. I'll explain in a minute, and I'll just do it now. I've experimented with different formats for the newsletter. I've used like MailChimp type email formats. I find those harder for me to use and harder for me to edit than something like this. I also didn't really like the way it looked. This looks like a magazine. This you could print and bind and have on your coffee table, right? So there are, it's a lot of content, but I enjoy it. And so I keep going and going and going. Back to the presentation.
Ryan, what program are you using for that?
I'll show you that.
Okay.
I have that. It's in there.
Okay.
So some lessons learned. Outdated content is really worse than no content. If it's static, then you're never going to drive people. It's okay to experiment and fail. So the newsletter idea, I used a MailChimp type software before. Now I use a different software. I'll give you the name in a moment. And then set a schedule and stick to it. Right, so quarterly newsletters was a cadence that felt right for our neighborhood, given the activity. Now that might mean that in a given quarter, I do 2 of them and then take the summer off. That's fine. But quarterly seems to work out really well. And then steal shamelessly, especially on Instagram and Facebook. I don't create a lot of the content that I share. I follow the police department, the fire department, the city, Parks and Rec, 1PS, the other networks. And so you can really find a lot there. So you're not necessarily creating new content all the time. Perfect's the enemy of good. So those 20% of homeowners, single family homeowners that don't want to be engaged with me, I'm just giving up. Like, they know where to find us. They know where our events are. They have access to the website. They know our website address. If they want to engage, they will. But I'm tired of putting flyers in the door, knocking on the door, trying to engage them when they don't want to be there. So I just give up. And it's not that they're not welcome. It's that I'm not making the same effort that I did over the first year and a half. I'd rather focus my time on the new homes that transition and making sure that new residents know who we are. And use what you know. So for the resident directory, I just use Excel. I have an Excel spreadsheet with all the addresses down 2 columns, and then I fill out the contact information and I update it. And when somebody leaves, I delete it because they're gone, and I replace them with whoever else. I don't keep the list of who lived there 7 times before and their email addresses because it doesn't matter for us. What are some benefits of what we've done? We've increased participation in our neighborhood organization. We just had a fall social event. The homeowner who hosted was a newer homeowner, but they hadn't yet met anybody in the neighborhood, and they volunteered to come in order to be able to just have everybody come, and that way they could meet people. That event, Chris attended, Andy was there, the mayor was there. We had probably 50% of the people there were first-time event attendees from our Norg. Our neighborhood is now better known in the city. Nobody knew where Little Beverly Hills was before. You probably didn't know. It's okay that you didn't know where it was. It's easy to drive by it, and we prefer that you don't drive through it. But people certainly know where it is and what it is. Real estate values have crept up. It certainly helped. There's a feeling of congeniality in the neighborhood. When people have visited the neighborhood for whatever reason, people have messaged me on Instagram to say, you know, I really would love to live in the neighborhood. And then the next time a home pops up, I go back to that message and I'm like, hey, if you were serious about wanting to live in the neighborhood, here's a home that just popped up. I have no relation to the listing, but you want to be our neighbor, here's how. And then it helps with our Modernism Week ticket sales. So today, we're 70% sold out for the February tour already, and that's just 5 weeks in. Within the first 24 hours, we were 50% sold on our tickets. And that 50% sale in 24 hours is really the driver of people knowing our neighborhood and wanting to visit. So what resources did I use? So I used GoDaddy for website hosting. They do a domain registration, they can host a website. I have the email account through them. This was a software that I was using for the newsletter originally. They have a MailChimp version that's free within this. I just didn't like it. Venngage is the other software that I used for all the social media advertisements that you saw, as well as the newsletters. And this is a software that $290 a year, roughly. I use it for work, and so there's no cost in the neighborhood organization because I just in kind donate it. But it's really, really powerful tool. I've used it for probably 6 or 7 years. It has continuous enhancements and really allows me to do a lot in it, including that digital flip book, the newsletter. It will publish to a website, and so I can just copy the URL and then plug it into our website there. Questions?
You're gonna be able to share all this with everybody, right?
Yeah, so I will email this to Denise, and then she'll figure out a way to get it to all of you. My contact information is there, but happy to answer any quick questions. I know you've got a busy agenda.
You're amazing.
Wow. Because it has all of the information, at least the highlights of what we do and how we do it. And it has a URL for the website and the Instagram. But follow us because I'm going to check my phone and I'm not going to let you out if you don't follow.
Thank you, Brian. That's really powerful. So we'll all have websites in the new year.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Keeping us on schedule here. Ms. Auburn, I think you have an important matter to attend to.
I think I do.
Paula is a member of the nominating committee. Peter Sipkins decided New Zealand is more attractive than Palm Springs tonight. So thank you for your doing this, and let's do it.
I appreciate that. Yes, Peter Simpkins decided to bail out on this and called me and said, geez, Paula, you've done this for about 4 or 5 years, so step up and do it again. So here are the procedures. As I call your name, I would like you to stand, wave, and then sit down. Because there are no contested seats, we can do this by a vote of acclamation. So I will move at the end that we accept the nominating committee slate. We will need a second, and then we'll have one vote. I'll ask for those in favor, I'll ask for those against, and I'll ask for those that are abstaining. Okay? So here's the list, and I will tell you that working on the nominating committee, it may sound like it's an easy task, but it's a challenge. And I want to thank these people who have stepped up and taken on roles of leadership so that we could get together in these monthly meetings and get all this fabulous information and rub elbows and have a little fun once in a while. So officers, Chair Chris Ruiz. By the way, I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Jim Schaffler. Thank you, Tim. Secretary, and this is the worst job and role to fill forever. So Patrick, I don't know if I should thank you or say you're crazy. Patrick Great. He has done a fabulous job. Treasurer, Catherine, or we call her Kat, Gallivan. Directors at Large, Kate Castle. Cynthia Sessions. I don't see Cynthia here. She's here all the time. Okay, well, she's here a lot. She's a good person. I probably shouldn't be the one saying that since I'm up here leading the nominations. Dan Gonella. Dan? Hi, Dan. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Thank you. Lisa Hoff, who you heard before, heads up the events committee, and she's unable to be with us this evening. Dan Fast. Dan, all right. I can tell you I've worked with Dan on a number of booths and committees, and he's a hard worker and a good person, and I'm mad at him because when I chaired the nominating committee, he kept telling me no.
He's also, was the rep for Arabico.
He's a rep for Arabico. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, is Corinne Griswold. There you are. I know I saw you, Corinne. So those are the officers in the slate. I would like to move that we adopt and accept the slate of officers and board members.
Second.
We've got a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by nay. All those who are abstaining signify. We are done. We have leaders for next year. I'll see you in January.
Thank you, Paula. And Paula has done this for years, and that's why we start so early in August, September, to get everybody involved. So thank you for your vote of confidence in this board, and happy to serve you. One last thing about Festival of Lights, I forgot to mention. How many balloon wranglers are in the room? Yay! Okay. I was there watching all of you, and I don't know how I've done it, but I don't know how you get under those street lights the way you do. But it was amazing, and thank you for all the volunteers, and then Bob, thank you for all the help you did for us too. So.
One thing,
Oh.
they gave out these ornaments.
Oh yeah, they did.
I have an extra 6 or 7 that I
Okay.
put in the back if anyone would like a
Festival of Lights ornament.
Festival Lights ornament.
There you go. Thank you. All right. And if you didn't wrangle a balloon, think about it next year. They're getting
It's a lot of fun. It's a really lot of fun.
and they're getting smaller. I remember the year I did it was 20 stories tall. Okay. The Nutcracker, that was pretty tall. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Okay. Well, you all did a wonderful job, and thank you. It's easy. It looks easier than it is. So, all right. Let's get on to some city department updates. And Gus, I think you're next. No, we have Mike and Gus.
It's hard to prevent Mike from talking, especially at his last meeting.
You're talking too much, Gus. You're talking too much already. Good evening, everybody. This is my last meeting for the year, obviously. You guys have Lieutenant Gus Ariza, who's returning, and you guys are in good hands. So before I say my goodbyes, couple department updates. We will have our Shop with a Cop event this Saturday. That event is an annual event where we raise money throughout the year, and we try to support families who are struggling financially and for the children so they can have a brighter Christmas. And it's been a successful event. We have over 30 families with several kids that are going to be here. It'll be at the Walmart. And so we're just happy to report that this year we raised close to what, $10,000? So yeah, so each kid gets a $200 card to shop. They'll walk with an officer or somebody from the police department staff, and they just get to shop. And it's a great event. So that'll be Saturday. Go ahead.
Real quick, I just wanted to thank Canyon Palms because they sponsored a team. It was actually one of our officers and his partner, and they basically won the whole tournament. And there was no judges, so everybody on the court themselves were judging it. But in the future, that's a good way to contribute to if you want to make that donation, whether it be an organized neighborhood thing. $100 will get a team on there. So just something to think about. We'll talk about it next year.
Great.
Way to interrupt
us.
Way to interrupt us.
All right. What else are we going on? Oh, we have 2 new officers. One graduated police academy, and we had another lateral police officer from the sheriff's office. So they're actually just started training these last couple of weeks. So that's great news. So obviously, kind of piggybacking off what the chief had mentioned, it's been a very rough last 2 weeks. Obviously losing CSO Nick Riego and Officer Ken Miranda in the horrible traffic accident. So it's times like these that we try to look for a silver lining, something positive, a light of hope. For me personally, honestly, going through the tragic events of October 8th in 2016, I cannot thank you enough for all your love and support that you show to us. That is a huge silver lining that honestly is invaluable. And me, as well as the entire department, cannot thank you enough for all the support and love that you give us. And I will definitely talk to Ken and pass on what the message is. So thank you for that. As for me, thank you for just making this last couple of years fun, being your department liaison. And I'm going on, obviously, to what I think my calling is as a public information officer. Social media, stuff like that. So I'm looking for a change. Plus, the hours aren't bad. It's Monday through Thursday, 7 to 5, get the weekends off. So I'm also looking forward to that. So again, just thank you for everything. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and happy holidays to everybody.
No, now that we close this chapter, we look for the next one. So I look forward to meeting with everybody in January. Thank you.
Yay!
Mike, we'll miss you, but you know where we are. And Gus, glad to have you back. Captain Skybird. There you are. The mic is dying, so.
I'm good. Good evening, everybody. How are we? All right, we got a couple updates. Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you. I forgot to say thank you. Yeah, so good evening, everybody. We got a couple of things we want to hit on from the fire department side. First and foremost, we stand in arms with our brothers and sisters with the police department. We will always be by their side, and anything they need, we are there for them. Franklin Fire out in Malibu. We got, it's dry out. There's some winds going on. I'm not the PIO of the incident, so I don't know much about it, but I do know it's 2,700 acres. Multiple residents are being told to shelter in place and or evacuate. So it's pretty bad out there. Just so you guys all know, we have high severe fire hazard areas in Palm Springs. We continue to clear those areas out to ensure that we are safe and the community is safe. So brush is always being pushed away, clear early and clear often. So even though we're in December right now, continue to clear. Clear your brush, clear it away from the house. I'll be posting something on Instagram tonight. Please do like the gentleman from Little Beverly Hills did at Palm Springs Fire, and you'll see that posted up. So that's that. Please, 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 understand that with the mountains here, with it being dry, with the winds, it's fire season year round in Palm Springs, everyone in Southern California. So keep your head on a swivel, okay? Toy drive. Palm Springs Fire Station 2 is collaborated with the Palm Springs Fire Foundation, and what we're doing is our annual toy drive. So at 300 North El Cielo, we have our fire station number 2, which is on the airport. If y'all can bring in some unwrapped toys, we're collecting them up to the 25th. If you bring them in February, we'll still take them. We'll just save them as an extra, right? But bring them to Station 2. We're going to collect them, and then we're going to distribute them to a few distributors throughout the city, one of them being the Boys and Girls Club. So we're marrying up with them on the 18th of this month to give them presents that have been donated to Station 2. So if you can, cruise by Station 2, knock on the door, drop off the presents, take a picture with the firemen, smile. We'll talk to you, we'll have coffee with you, and hang out. So from there, the last thing we're doing is we're hiring more firefighters. In the month of February, it looks like we're going to be opening up for testing. I'm one of the guys that is leading the recruitment side of it all. So we are reaching out to multiple marketing channels in order to bring the best here. That's what we want. We want to bring the best here. Some people that are happy to serve with a smile on their face, and understand that we're servants, and at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. So we are excited about the recruitment and the next testing. We've had 3 classes recently, and all 3 of them have been a success. Yes, sir. How many new firefighters are you looking for? You know, I don't know the exact answer to that. It's a range right now from anywhere from 6 to 12, but I'm not for sure. So that hasn't been released to me yet. But at the end of the day, if you would, tell your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your uncles, your aunts, your grandpas and grandmas, that we're hiring. Tell them we're hiring, and that's it from Palm Springs Fire. You guys got anything? Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, boy.
I'm back. No, I did forget one big announcement, and this is one of my best friends. You guys know him, Lieutenant Frank Browning.
Yeah.
So he just announced he will be retiring at the end of this year. December 30th will be his last day. He is the current South Area Commander.
Yeah.
So the chief and the captains will start planning like the testing process for a new lieutenant. So we don't know how long that'll take, but you guys will have a new area commander once the promotion's made. So if you guys know Frank, please send him just a nice message. He's been here with the community for a little over 25 years.
Wow.
And I'm gonna miss him. He's, like I said, he's one of my best friends. We're in the Air Force together, and he's the reason I came to Palm Springs. I did it right along with him and haven't looked back ever since. So I did want to share that news. He just announced, so yeah, please get in contact with him, and he'll be happy to hear from you. So thank you.
But who's going to be covering the South End for those of us who live in the
Let's
South
just say
End?
it'll be me for the meantime.
Okay, thank you, Gus.
Yeah.
So Gus will cover the South area until we get a new promotion. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I don't see Danny, but do we have an update from emergency? No?
No, just that there's a class in January.
A CERT class in January.
We'll get more notice out.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, Desert Water. I know we have a few people here. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
We're totally prepared. Sorry, we were thinking LP and or sustainability, but didn't see her. That's okay. Oh, we're totally fine being moved up on.
Going fluid.
Yeah. Here, go ahead, Sophie.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am really happy to have Victoria work here with us today. She is our Director of Public Affairs and Conservation. She's been with us since April. And so, yes, oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'll let her.
Sorry, I just didn't know if she wanted Hello, and I'm sorry I haven't come to any of these meetings sooner. As Sochi was saying, I've been with Desert Water Agency since April, so about 8 months. I come by way of Coachella Valley Water District, previously as their government affairs manager. And now in my new capacity, I'm over public affairs and conservation, and I also lead our legislative and government affairs efforts for the agency. And I'm really excited to work with people like Sochi. She's a phenomenal public affairs manager, and I know has been very involved with 1PS. Maybe it's where you walk. Anyways, I don't know how many of you may have joined us on our fall tours back in October. Years ago. Okay, cool. Well, we're really excited that the community comes out for those and you get to see behind the curtain kind of how the water gets to your tap and all the fun things that you don't really realize goes into making sure that you have safe and reliable water supply in your homes. So with that, Sochi has some updates and then, thank you. He said it was a nice tour.
No, when's the next tour?
When's the next tour? Oh, I'm hearing compliments. When is the next tour? That's a great question. Normally we do a spring and a fall tour. We may be revamping how we do them and might just do one annual tour, which is a little bit longer and try to do more facilities and then try to do different types of tours during the year for certain groups. As you may or may not know, at our agency, we are less than 100 staff, so we all wear a lot of different hats, and in order to continue the level of service that we bring to the community, we do want to make sure that our bandwidth is spread as evenly as possible. And for those who may or may not be aware, we recently have some new conservation mandates that have come down from the state. And so we're going to be focusing a lot of our outreach efforts to educating the community and trying to form more partnerships and how we can reach those targets as one community. So.
Thank you, Victoria. We have the handouts in the back. I just wanted to share a little bit of information about our next pipeline replacement project that is coming up. At Desert Water Agency, we have a pretty aggressive pipeline replacement program where we identify and we fix some of our leakiest and oldest pipes. That helps us cut down on water waste. And so our next pipeline replacement projects are set to start next month, the second week of January in the Racket Club Estates area. And then after that, in February, there'll be some work done in the historic tennis club and downtown area. So we have a map in the back with more details, and we also have lots of great information on our website too, and we will be updating our website as soon as plans change or we have more information on when the projects will start, when they'll hit certain parts in the neighborhood. We'll be updating our website. You can go to dwa.org/pipelines. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
Quick question. On your Racket Club Estates section, isn't that including Vista Chino and the state highway covering that they're also doing on Vista Chino?
I believe that's Caltrans.
Yeah, that's
Caltrans.
Yeah, that's a separate, it's
So
not
you guys
us.
aren't on the same street?
No.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Yep. No, yeah, there's a lot of work going on around the city.
We are talking with Caltrans and our engineering departments are communicating.
Yep, so handy maps in the back. Any questions? Oh,
I don't know if you want to, are you doing something with the water pressure change at the big tanks in Andreas Mills? Because all my neighbors we've been noticing that it's been going up and down, which is blowing all of our irrigation out, and it's making the toilets go up and down, up and down, up and down.
I have a card. I have many cards. So I will give you one and then follow up with you afterwards so we can get that information down. Not to our knowledge. But
Yeah,
I don't want to speak out of turn.
exactly. I'm unfamiliar with that, so we'll get back in touch with you on that for sure. So, okay.
And then since everyone was like hyping up their social media, please follow us as well at Desert Water Agency. And as Sochi was mentioning, when we do have updates to like pipeline projects or any last minute traffic notifications, we do post them on our Facebook, our Instagram. We do have X as well, Twitter, and then Nextdoor for those affected communities. We try to give them as much heads up and lead time as possible. And then additionally, it is the holiday season. So if anybody was in the market or wanted to gift anybody a washer or a highly efficient toilet, please don't forget our Desert Water Agency rebates and incentive programs. For toilets, you can receive up to $150, and for washing machines, up to $250. And then as a gentle reminder, with holiday cooking, fog clogs. What is fog? Fats, oils, and grease. They should not be going down the drain. So we have these fun, nifty little can covers, and we should have brought some with us, but they are for free at our offices, so please come visit. And so if you have like a can that you've used, save that can off to the side, and as you have like grease or whatever in your pan, you can pour that into that can, let it harden. And so what these can covers are, they're literally a can cover. And it's reusable, and honestly, I don't use mine for my fogs. I use mine for my dog food. It's a great little sealer. But please come on by and just really be mindful of what you're putting in your pipes this holiday season. We'd hate for you guys to have any sort of backups into your home, and that's really what happens when fog clogs.
And these are in the back too.
Yes, we have front and in the back. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Nothing says Merry Christmas than a new toilet. And a washing machine. Hey, if you need one. All right, sustainability. I'm sorry, I'm completely out of order. I didn't see LP, so glad you're here.
Hello, everybody. So just 2 events coming up. We do have the shredding event back on January 11th at the Convention Center once more. Pre-shredding will take place at City Hall again. That'll be January 6th through the 9th from 8 to 5 p.m. Again, the shredding event is back. So for the January 11th, we will accept the e-waste and bulky items. However, for pre-shredding, only paper, please. We also have our first community cleanup back. We'll be starting with the James O'Jesse community and then working our way down. For James O'Jesse, it'll be January 25th. And then we have some flyers in the back if you would like to register for lunch. So afterwards, and a t-shirt. Any questions? Don't want to take anybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's back. Liz is back.
Hey.
To talk about trash.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. And it's nice to be back for the holidays and everything exciting that's happening in our city. And with our holidays coming, just a quick reminder, we do collect Christmas trees. So when you're done with your Christmas tree, if you can just remove all decorations, please, off the tree. And if you can, if it's a taller than 4 feet, just go ahead and cut the top for 4 feet pieces if you can, and then set it out on your pickup day. You don't need to call, you don't need to schedule that. Just set it out on your pickup day and a different crew will come by and pick that up. Just be sure to remove the base and decorations, please. Bulky items. You are all aware that our multifamily, everybody has free bulky item. Please call. Those you do have to call it in. You do have 2 free bulky items per month. Just call us, let us know what you have. We'll put it on the board and we will get that taken care of. I know everybody might be getting that new toilet or washer. So just call it in. We'll get that old one removed and taken care of. The same thing for fog. Now that we are in the holidays, I'll second that. Don't put any food in your garbage disposal. Get a compost bucket from us. Put that food waste in your organic waste, and then that grease does go in the trash. Don't put it in your green one. So if you have that little can, just put it in the trash, and it goes in the trash. It cannot be recycled and it cannot go into organics. And yes, please don't throw your food in the garbage disposal. I know Xochitl and I partner up together on that. So you got a compost bucket, use it for that, and then just your liquids, your clean liquids, no fats. And that was it for me, just your bulky item and Christmas tree pickup. Any questions for me? No. Okay, happy holidays, everyone.
Denise has a report.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Try to look festive. Thanks. So there are like a million holiday festivities going on this month, and I think, I don't know if it's any secret, but the mayor wants to turn like Palm Springs into like, so Christmas wonderland. So there's gonna be more coming. So there's a lot of events still left. There's Christmas movie in the park on December 13th from 7 to 9 p.m. We have the Friends of the Palm Springs Library Holiday Bazaar. That's on 12/14 from 10 a.m. to 1. Santa Claus is coming to Village Fest on 12/19 from 6 to 9. And these are all on Engage Palm Springs calendar. I hope I have them. And then if you want to do Breakfast with Santa, you can do that on 12/21, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Leisure Center Pavilion. And I just want to take the time again to just thank everybody for everything you do every year. Your volunteerism is amazing. It's inspiring. I just love being with you guys. You're like my second family. And I just want to thank you for all the time you take for the community. We had a blast out there with the balloons on the Festival Lights. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And enjoy if you have some time off, and look forward to seeing you in just a few more weeks, right? New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Yes, and Denise keeps this whole thing together. So one more hand for Denise, please. We text like we're still asleep. We're like, yeah. 24 hours a day. Yeah.
So with all the celebrations and festivals that we have in the city, Denise, the 26th is your birthday, no? Is anybody saying happy birthday to you? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
Denise. Come
up here.
Denise, come up here.
Come on. Come on. Everybody's, you always take your photos together.
Come on.
We got a nice birthday cake for you. The fire department would not allow you to have this.
Thank you, that's very nice.
So, if we can, sing happy birthday to you, Denise.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Denise. Happy birthday to you.
How old will you be?
Yeah, very nice. 21 plus.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Boxing Day, I think they call it. All right. Any public comments? You're not tired already. All right. Did you have? No? Okay. He just did it.
Oh, that was it?
That was Dean.
Yeah, that was it.
We thought you had something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you all for a wonderful year. Have safe, happy holidays. We will see you January 14th. And take good care. Thanks again.
Thank you.